So I want to show you how to tie this little bumblebee pattern. It's kind of a fun little pattern. It's a little deer hair pattern, and the bluegill like it. One quick note is the white butt on it. We don't have any bumblebees in North America with white butts. They do in the British Isles and England. There is a bumblebee that has a white back to it. I like this just because the color contrast and color combination. But if you want to, do a little search of bees and do colors that are a little more realistic, you can. I've caught plenty of bluegill on this. They certainly don't mind this color combination, and they don't seem to know that it is not entomologically correct for North America. But anyway, yeah, so let's go ahead and let's start. I'm going to be using a B10S number 6. A Gamakatsu B10S is the hook. You can use this, any kind of small. This is more of a bass type hook in that for the length of the shank, it's got a little wider gape, and I like that. So as with all of my flies, let's start by crimping the barb. Let's begin there. Put it in. My hook here, my vise rather. Then I'm going to come and I'm going to just like I do in everything else, just going to rough that just a little bit so my my thread will really adhere to it. It won't slide down the hook shank when I start trying to pack the hair in. So we'll put us a little bit of zap there, not a lot. And I'm going to switch to a UTC GSP thread. This is a 75 denier. It's smaller than what I normally use for bass bugs. So let's start it in that spot. And we'll come in here. And then I'm going to go forward to about the halfway point. I want to go to the halfway point on the hook, and then I'm going to come back to the back of it, the back right there. Now I'm using deer belly hair, whitetail belly hair for this. It's naturally white like this piece right here, so it dyes in nice bright colors. And then of course I have a piece of black. Now black hair doesn't, it dyes black whether it's body hair or belly hair. I am using belly hair in this one though. So let's start here by getting a bunch of white, and I'm going to comb out the under fur. I'm going to take it and trim it just like I do other pieces. And I don't need the tips for this. So now this is a little bit different technique. This is kind of how you do hopper heads. I'm just going to push the hair around the hook shank. I'm going to come around 3 times. And then I'm going to just pull the thread down and flare the hair right in place. So that's one technique for putting hair, and that's a good technique for hopper head or for hopper heads or small deer hair heads. So I got my hair distributed around there. Now, okay, so now the next step is I'm going to come in and get my black hair. And so this is going to be a different technique. This is, I think, what people think of traditionally as spinning hair. This is where I'm going to let the hair rotate around the hook shank and evenly distribute itself around in a complete ring. And this is what you often do on little hopper heads and things. So I'm going to come in 1, 2, 3. Now I'm going to start pulling down and letting go of that hair at the same time. And you're going to rotate it around until it stops turning. And the trick to this move, let me go ahead and pack that hair back. The trick to doing that is to keep the same pressure all the way around. And normally the hair will spin maybe 2 times, maybe 3 times, and then eventually it'll come to a stop. And that's what you're looking for. And then you kind of come in here and look at it, and you can kind of rotate it with your fingers a little bit and get it a nice even distribution around the hook shank. And that looks pretty good. So now I'm going to come in here and I'm going to put a couple half hitches in there. And then I'm going to take my packing tool, I'm going to support it back here, come in here and compress that hair back into there. Okay. Now I'm going to take my yellow hair, and now this is, I'm going to do what I've been doing on a lot of flies, and that is a stacking technique. In other words, because the yellow is going to be kind of the bigger color here. So I'm going to trim it. And I'm going to take this hair, 1, 2, 3, and rotate that bunch to the bottom of the hook shank, put my thumb on top of it, and flare it right there. And I think at this point we'll go ahead and we will add a little bit of glue in here. And then we'll cut a piece of yellow and put it on top. This is no different than doing any of the bass bugs and stuff I've done. I'll flare that right on top. Now I'll come in here, come out front, get a couple half hitches there. And now I'll come in here with my hair packing tool, again support the back of it so you don't push it too far back. And we're roughly about at the halfway point there. Let's see if I can get just a little bit more. There we go. Yeah, that's not bad. All right, so now I'll come in here and I'll take my Zap-A-Gap and touch it to my thread. Wrap that glued thread in there, then put a couple half hitches on it. And come and cut my shell spun thread. Now, come here one more time, now it's glued, and try to pack it back, okay? Now what I'm going to do is I'm going to take my stone foe tool, got a little bit of a curve to it, and what I want to do is look at the front, I want to cut symmetrically all the way around and just get a cut started. So I'm going to start here. Now be careful with this. Okay, that's looking not too bad. Okay, now I'm going to come in here with my scissors and trim the back of this up. And then I'll come in here and I'll trim the face of it as well. Okay, so now I'm going to take my razor blade, and let's start on this side. I'm going to kind of cut down on that side, cut down on that side, keeping things symmetrical. Now what I'm going to do is I'm going to come and I'm going to put a little taper cut here because I'm going to put some wings on it. And I'm going to put some legs on it, so I need a little taper on each side. Take the corners out of those cuts. Okay, I think that's starting to look pretty good. Kind of clean my front edge up here. Okay. Now what I'm going to do is I'm going to switch over to my black UTC thread. It's 140 denier. I'm going to wrap the front here all the way back to the body. Cut it. So now I'm going to use a little whiting winger cape, a little hen cape, and I'm just going to get a couple little hen feathers here. And then what I'm going to do is I'm going to put the feathers together, put the tips together, even them up. And you can see what I'm doing is the curve is away. Make sure they're the same length. So they're curving away from each other. And bees have a pretty short wingspan. I'm just going to set that in there like that. Keep it down pretty low. And that's probably about right there. So, see the wings in there. Now what I'm going to do is I'm going to take some black rubber leg material. So I'm going to take this, I'm going to divide it in half. So I cut it in half. Now let's take this piece and fold it over into a loop. Now I'm going to take that loop And I'm going to bring it around and drop it right in there on the side. Get a couple wraps on it. Then I'm going to take one of these legs and pull it back right along the side. And then I'm going to take this one, lift it up on top, and wrap it so it's on top, like that. Now I'm going to get my other one and do the same thing to the other side. And then have that one go out, and we'll leave this one out over the top. Like that. Now I'm going to come back, hold everything back, and I'm going to take a piece of tinsel chenille, cut a piece here, and wrap back with it. Now I get my legs positioned and get some wraps right here at the front. Now, wrap a little bit of a thread head right here. Come in and do a whip finish. Try that again. Now, I take these little loops and I cut them out. So now, three little legs, three little legs, and some antenna. Trim the belly back a little bit. Clean my back up a little bit. And there you have it. A little tiny deer hair bumblebee. Sophie, come here. Come on. Come, Sophie, come on. Come on. Good girl. Come here. Come here. Come here. 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 Oh, good girl. All right, go on.